It is the end of the 2024 International Builder Show here in Las Vegas, United States, and I want to show you some of the coolest products that I saw while I was in there. All right, so this is really a product that I'm excited about. This is Timber HP, and it is insulation made out of recycled wood fibers. So it uses wood fiber that is normally waste in the wood processing. So you're making 2x4s and you got a bunch of sawdust. They can take that and they make insulation out of it. So it's a very, very low impact product. The insulation values are great. It's non-flame propagating. It's hydrophobic. It's hydrophobic, so it doesn't let water soak into it. They've got cavity insulation. They've got exterior insulation. It's a lot like other insulations that are made from other organic materials, like maybe comes out of rocks. But this one I think is way better because the carbon imprint is so much lower. We're actually carbon sequestering. We're taking a waste material and we're turning it into insulation. I've seen this in Switzerland when I was out in Europe. It's a common material over there on the high-end builds at least. Haven't seen it in the US, couldn't get it except for some very niche importers. They are now distributing in the US. I'm not exactly sure all of the details on that. You can go look it up and find out for yourself if you would like. But I really am hopeful that this product takes off. It's just cool. It's cool to be building a wood building with wood insulation. Of course, you got to do your waterproofing right. Of course, you can't let water into the building, but you can't let your water into the building if you're using fiberglass. You can't let water in the building if you're building out of a standard CMU. If you're doing any type of drywall in the inside, if you let water on the inside, you're going to have mold, rot, and all kinds of other problems. So close your mouth if you're saying, well, you can't have a wood building get wet. You can't have any buildings get wet. It's 2024. Get with the program. Build right, build tight, build waterproof. And this is a fantastic product, and I'm hoping they succeed. We're here at the Novi booth. These are a Belgian appliance manufacturer. They have 3 products, and they're actually really cool. So first, there's this induction cooktop here. Now, you know that I love induction cooktops, and this one is nothing special at first until you think, wait, it's a little bit more narrow. Why is it narrow? Is it just to fit in a standard size cabinet? It will do that, but check this out. It also has the ability to be self-venting. So if you watched some of the stuff that I did a few years ago, when I was trying to do this exact same thing, I was trying to get a vent integrated into a cooktop, there was very few solutions. We ended up going with a Best Buy Brone, which is okay, but it was still a lot of work to integrate the two. This one has it all working together, and what's cool about it is because each zone, it's got all of its zones laid out this direction instead of here and here and here and here. It's because all the way down you have good ventilation, and this has 3 different heights. So if I had something cooking out here, it wouldn't be able to suck in and ventilate here very well. This is able to ventilate because it's right on top of the cook. You can do the tall one for a tall pan. You can do the medium size for the medium pan, or it goes all the way down to the shortest that it can to do the low side. This here, if you're worried about getting your fingers cut off, let me show you something here. They actually did this for Veronica, and we lost her fingers, so she's walking around with 1, 2 few fingers. Look at that. Bang. It's magnetic. So that top is magnetically attached to that, so it's not going to do any damage. There's a waterproof gasket around the whole thing. It all comes apart and is super easy to clean. I really like this induction range from Novi. They also have vent hoods. This is a vent hood up above me. It's got lighting integrated in it. You can change the color of the light, you can do all the other stuff. But what's cool about it is that top plate actually increases the surface area of the vent. So with 600 CFM, it performs much more like a 900 CFM and is much quieter. And it can be up to 100 inches above the floor. So you can have a standard size, 8-foot ceiling, and this is still super effective, or you soften it down if you need to. I really like the way that they make it larger without just having a huge hole in the ceiling. And then their third product, which is, sort of niche, I don't know whether I'd put it in my home, but it's sort of cool, is this shelf is actually task lighting. Now this is a little bit mind-blowing. I'm probably going to mess it up here, but if I hold my hand here, it will go between mood lighting up here at the top. I can change the colors of that mood lighting. I can also get task lighting here. This is my general task lighting while I'm working, and then I can pull the light to only the part where I want to be, and if I want the whole thing, I can put my hands in there and move it, and it changes colors. It does a whole lot of things with your hands as you're waving in front of it. It's pretty cool. I'm really excited about the range. I like the vent hood. I think this is a little maybe niche, but if you have a super modern house and you want that task lighting without having under cabinet light, it's probably a good solution. It's just super fun to play with. Novi out of Belgium, you can get them through the Viking distributor. So if you want this, figuring out how to get it, go call your local Viking rep and then get you a hold of the Novi ranges. So this is the Wack, and the Wack is a RO replacement system. So it uses, over here you can see, it uses these two canisters, and it uses electrolysis to remove the contaminants in the water. So with RO, you push the water through filters, and there's a lot of waste as that water goes through the filters, and you have wastewater that keeps everything moving, and then that wastewater gets pushed out into your septic system, or it gets pushed out into the sewer. But in this case, there is not that wastewater. They're able to remove those contaminants through an electronic process, and as this filter gets contaminated over time, it will switch it to this container, and then it reverses the polarity of all of these little capacitors in here, and it discharges all of the contaminants, and then that gets flushed away, but it's a very low usage of water, so it's much more efficient. And it's really cool that this will do, I've heard 6, but then I'm reading the literature and it says 10 gallons a minute. So at 10 gallons a minute, we can do like 3-4 bathrooms all at the same time. So this one unit basically gives you a whole home RO solution without being a whole home RO system. It is expensive. It's going to be $6,500 for this. Whole home RO is going to be over 10. So, you know, but when you look at a big filter system, if you're doing carbon filtration, if you're doing water softening, and you're doing RO, you start stacking all of those up, you're going to quickly get to that $6,500 price point. Doing it all in one unit at that price point, I think to me makes a lot of sense, especially if you're doing houses without a whole lot of room for a water room. You can stick this in a closet and filter your whole house just with this one unit. I like it. So this is a Click Glass by Cardinal. So it's a double laminate pane, and in between the two laminations, you have these liquid crystal. There's a liquid crystal display in the middle, and when you power it on, when you turn it on, it is going to go completely transparent. And when you turn it off, it goes opaque. And that's good news. If the power goes out and you've got privacy glass on your front door, it's going to go opaque. It's not going to go clear. But if you want it to be clear, you turn it on and it's completely clear. In the past, when I've seen these, they would be hazy. And you can even tell on this one, it's not quite as clear as the non-dimmable glass. They're not quite as clear, but it's almost there. I mean, I wouldn't know it if it wasn't doing its crazy little dance here that it was doing when I walked by. It's almost as clear. There's a little bit of haze when you look up, but for the most part, you can't tell that it's there when it's turned on, and when you turn it off, it gives you that complete privacy. If you're doing anything with really large windows, especially in bedrooms or in bathrooms or anywhere where privacy is a concern, and you're building a contemporary house and you can't do traditional curtains because it doesn't fit with the architecture, this is a really good solution, and I think the best execution of the solution that I've seen. This is Click Glass by Cardinal, and we are at the WeatherShield booth. WeatherShield builds all of the windows, so if you're just buying a full window, get it from WeatherShield with Click. This thing's like 8 foot by 14 foot tall. It's a giant door. It pivots right in the middle, and it's super easy to use. You would think that a door this size would be really heavy and hard to use. It's absolutely not. It closes with a multi-point lock all the way down this edge, and it locks really secure on this side. One of the things that I don't really have an issue with, because I don't know what the solution would be, but they have all of this locking on this side, but on this side, which normally this would be the hinge side, so it doesn't matter because you've got your hinges here. Well, you have all of this locking on this side, and you don't have anything on this side except for the standard close of the weather sills there. So if there's something that they can do in the future to have this lock too, I think that it would be an improvement, but it's still a super cool door. ginormous, really easy to operate, and built with absolute attention to detail. So that's it. We had a great time. I was able to be the host of the Remodeler Symposium on Monday. That was fantastic. I got to be over with all the cool kids on the Construction Performance Zone. They really do a good job of lifting up the builders who are trying to do a better job in this country, and I really appreciate that. Thanks so much for watching. Go follow us on all of our other social media channels. Watch these people walk through the frame, and we'll see you next time on Smith House.